In 2025, we have multiple ways to enjoy your Nintendo Wii with services like Wii Link and WiiMFi. But do you ever wonder how these services even came to exist? These services took a long time to come together, with a large team of developers investing their time and energy into them. In this video, I want to show you my gratitude in a way, and also simultaneously explain how we went from the Wii being a sort of dead console in terms of like online play and access to our channels, to today where we can access the channels whenever we want. I'm going to take you back to a time where the Wii was still relevant, so we need to use our energy to go back. Around this time, the Wii was still at the height of its craze and had sold astoundingly well. People were all enjoying their systems around the world, but as always, people wanted to find the console's weak spots for modding and hacking. Team Tweezers found an exploit which is called Twilight Hack, which made it possible to use a hacked version of Twilight Princess saved to an SD card, which allowed the exploit to run on the Nintendo Wii and install what many of you probably know as the Homebrew channel. The Homebrew channel was the gateway for all kinds of potential hacks and mods to be brought for the Wii. Before I cover that though, there were many more exploits over time that were made and uncovered, such as Letterbomb, where you enter your Wii's MAC address onto a website and then it lets you download it through the Wii's agreement contract area. And then another one was called STA2 hacks, where you use a custom DNS on your Wii and then you follow the same process through the agreement contract page. That exploit was also covered and explained on this channel, by the way, so if you want to use that, then I have made a video on it. Going back though, Homebrew brought a lot of interesting hacks to the Wii. This opened up the world for emulation and ROM hacks, multiple games, softwares like WiiMC, where you can even watch sort of like YouTube and watch DVDs, downloading custom themes through your Wii, and even Homebrew itself, and also installing WADs, which gave you free WiiWare titles, and the sort of list just goes on and on. But I don't want to get into that today. Homebrew was the gateway to preserving Nintendo Wii's history, which was very important for what was to come years later. The Homebrew channel exploits did get blocked in further updates, which was unfortunate, but hackers still find a way to sort of get around it and navigate around the patches that Nintendo put into place. Sadly, one of Team Tweezers members, Ben Bayer, passed away in 2016 due to natural causes. It was because of him that made it possible, and also his team as well, for, you know, what we're going on to next. Around this time, the Wii was losing popularity due to the 3DS and Wii U rising up. Okay, the Wii U flopped, I guess, but anyway, the Wii was on its way out and was losing support left, right, and center. What I mean here is that Nintendo WFC was shutting down, and there was still a rather sort of broad player base for games such as like Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, Smash Brawl, GoldenEye, etc. Users by the name of WeeMM and Lezra, I think that's how you pronounce that guy's name, I'm really not too sure. They had an idea in 2012 to analyze the Wii's network protocol, which originally was to stop cheaters in Mario Kart Wii. Also, they wanted to sort of preserve the Nintendo WFC so they could eventually revive it. After 2 years, in 2014, Nintendo WFC was shutting down, and these guys were more than ready to release what we now know as WiiMFi. WiiMFi was released on May 10th, 2014, which allowed people to play online again, which was fantastic. From what I've read, at first you could only play Mario Kart Wii, but at the end of that year you could play up to 17 games online again. I won't read off the full sort of development cycle, as there is a rather long list of entries, but over time the patch became broader and allowed people to play more games. The developers continuously work on WiiMFi even to this day. I personally have played a shed load of Mario Kart Wii online using this service, and it was also what allowed me to use the Wii Speak for the first time using Animal Crossing City Folk, or sort of Let's Go to the City. This was great and all, but the complete revival still wasn't there yet. I think it's fantastic, but we still didn't have the channels, which was what gave the Wii its sort of unique style. So it's time to move more forward in time. So like I said before, we have access to online play now, which is great on a variety of games, but now I want to be able to use channels again. Larson, Awesome Mario Fan, and KCRPL had a vision to bring back the channels they enjoyed when they were younger. These consist of the Forecast channel, News channel, Check Me Out channel, and Everybody Votes channel. Larson, KCRPL, and Awesome Mario Fan began work on Reconnect 24 in 2015 and worked with the team to revive the Wii's channels. So it wasn't just them who worked on it, there were also some of the developers scattered around, but I will leave a link to all the credits in the description. Information and documentation of the complete development has been also quite hard to find, but I was told the majority of the sort of story by Larson himself and a few members of the community back in 2018, which is now incredibly convenient. At first, we had the revivals of the Forecast and News channels, which were required to use some reverse engineering skills to collect data from weather news, who fed the data to the channels to show the news and weather information on there. This was a great start and more or less proved that the development team had the skills to do what they desired to achieve. We later had the Everybody Votes channel, which let users vote on contests pushed out by the developers of the project. We later on had the release of the Wii Mail service, which let users send mail to their friends on their Wii using a friend code system and also a normal email address. In 2019, we had the release of the Nintendo channel earlier that year, where users were able to watch the old commercials and advertisements through the platform. We later were able to use the DS Download Play demos, which were a very sort of fond memory of my own from when I was younger, because I used to use those quite a lot to play Mario Kart and a few other games. Late 2019, we had the Check Me Out channel, which got released, which was one of the more challenging ones to develop due to the server being more complex than a lot of the other channels before it. This one was longly awaited, and after a new developer came to the scene, they were finally able to crack it and release the contest to the public. We also had the Wii Speak channel revived at one point in time, and I had a lot of fun messing around with this one, similar to what I was doing with Animal Crossing City Folk or Let's Go to the City in Europe. So 2020 came around, and as you're probably very aware, lockdown hit, and the service was more in use than ever before, as people were locked in their homes, sort of unable to go outside. The user base piled up, and there unfortunately wasn't a lot of content left to release, which was a shame, as it would have been cool to have some during lockdown, but mostly everything had been revived and completed, so everything was put into place. This was the end of an incredible era of development for the scene, as well as all the channels available in North America and Europe at the time that were now completely functional, except a couple, I believe. Around the end of 2020, a few Reconnect 24 users had a bit of conflict with a couple of the Reconnect 24 developers, which spiraled into them wanting to make a new service which revived the Japanese Wii applications, and also managed the Forecast channel news and all the sort of North American European channels. The Japanese channels included here was We No Ma, the Photo Prints channel, the Demai channel, and the TV Guide channel. After a harsh amount of criticism and a competent team of developers came together, by December 2020 they formed WeLink 24 and managed to publish an early build of We No Ma. This was a huge leap in the community, as we already had access to Reconnect 24 with all its channels outside of Japan, and now we had access to all of the ones released exclusively in that region. After this, development continued on other channels, and now we have access to the Demai channel, so you can order pizza through like a Domino's client. The Photo Prints is functional. There's some private betas going on for the TV no Tomo still, and they also brought back the Kirby TV channel so you can watch the Kirby anime show, which is also fantastic. Going back to Reconnect 24 though, they eventually merged with WeLink so everything could be accessible in one place, and as the developers were kind of moving on with their lives as well, this kind of made sense actually, and it was a lot more convenient accessing all these services under one roof rather than having to use multiple patches and software to get them running. I think this marks the end of the story, for now at least. The revival of a lot of these channels has come very far, and to be totally honest, a lot further than I ever sort of envisioned. Making this video with its brief of information and history made me realize if a community come together, they can really make anything happen. I still use a lot of these services today, and on the odd occasion when I still have time to sort of boot up my Wii and occasionally sit and play a couple online games with my friends. I do think though I'm really going to miss the early days of the development cycle. I'm not sure if it's the fact that I'm sort of an adult now and don't really have a lot of time to invest into these games and services as sort of like I used to when I was back in school and everything, but it makes me very nostalgic, and just witnessing and hearing about the new developments that they're making over at like WeLink and even on like WeMfi and all these other services, you know, it does kind of take me back sometimes. We probably still have some big things on the way from WeLink still, and you never know, there may be more channels in the future to come, like possibly even ones made from scratch that function as services or fun sort of applications to use on your Wii. I think it's now safe to say that we probably have everything we wanted. In 2025, the Wii still has a very large player base, and I am very grateful to the developers of these major projects for making all of this happen. But, you know, I'm going to leave it there now, guys. Thank you for watching. Please do also consider subscribing as well, as I'm aiming to reach 500 by the end of 2025, which would, you know, be fantastic, and also force me to do a New Year's celebration stream when it comes around to it, or, you know, anything sort of broader than that. I look forward to seeing you on the next one anyway. Peace out, guys.